The Raptors fall short once again in the fourth quarter, this time to the Memphis Grizzlies. 98-91 is your final. Welcome to Raptors Night Cap. I'm Randy Urban. We're inside Scotia Club, inside Scotiabank Arena. Sherman Hamilton, Amy Audibert, and Paul Jones are the guests once again. It feels like deja vu from the other night. Raptors were right there. In the third quarter, they make their run, and then all of a sudden, they run out of gas, Jonesy.
Is this like run it back?
Yeah.
Just
say what you said last year.
The Rock.
We just keep seeing, the same things. A little bit of a slow start. You get down double figures, you start chasing, except this time there's no Gary Trent Jr., there's no big third quarter from Precious Achiuwa, and yet with that, they still had the lead at 1 in the second half. Yeah. Couple of chances to get over the hump. I just think it's so important that when you get to that point, you take a good shot, you get a quality possession, and you try to get a score. Mm-hmm. And if you don't, then rinse, repeat, get a stop at the other end and do the same thing. I just thought that, to me, that was a key point because there was a run after that Memphis pushed it open. They never got close again.
Yeah, Amy, that's 10 losses in 13 games since the 5-game winning streak. Aside from missing key guys, what did you think contributed to the L?
Aside, that's it, right? Yeah. That's it, because we keep talking about if they hang around or they get back. They get down 17 and end up coming back.
But I didn't feel like they were outclassed,
no,
right?
No, and that's what Chris Boucher, he responded tonight. I thought Malachi Flynn, he did some good things. And you can't knock him for missing a good open three, right? He still took it. He should be taking those. So, again, if OG or Gary are available, I just feel like maybe there's a couple more wins on the other side simply on that fact. But, Udo was great today, so much energy, and he really turned it around too. But, it's just the consistency too. I think Nick Nurse in his post-game just talked about extreme peaks and valleys with Scotty Barnes, and we saw that, right? We saw it at times. It wasn't, especially in that first quarter for everybody, and then turns on the energy, and this whole place is jumping, and then it's just, again, that knockdown shooter or that go-to guy. You have a couple more when Gary or OG are available. And that's the difference.
Sure. I want to talk about how the game started. Did you feel like there was a lack of energy from the Raptors' perspective, just in the way that the game began? I know you're missing shots and that, you kind of get down and then all of a sudden you're playing catch-up, but you can't really feel like that in an NBA game. You gotta get after it a little bit.
Well, they held Memphis to a terrible field goal percentage. 38% for the game. You're getting it done on one side of the basketball. Other than giving up the offensive rebounds, you're doing a good job defensively getting them to miss. The issue is if you're not capitalizing on that defense on the other end, in some way, shape, or form, get to the free throw line. I know guys are missing shots, but get to the free throw line, mix it up. They're not doing that. And it's unfortunate because when you look at the three-point shots they got, I feel like the lion's share of them were good looks.
Good looks,
I feel like they forced it. I thought they took good looks. So the question is, to everybody's point, no knock on Malachi Flynn, but if it's Gary Trent Jr. taking some of those threes, maybe some of them go in. If OG's taking some of those threes, maybe they go in. So it's one of those things where it's not as bad as it looks. And that offense, I feel like there are makeable shots that guys just aren't making. So as bad as it feels, they're not as far away as we think they are based on how they're playing defense.
There's a real fine line between when you're going bad, how close you are to being good, and when you're good, a few slips and all of a sudden you're bad. And to Sherman's point, they held Memphis under 40% from the floor, under 30% from three, if I'm not mistaken.
29%.
And they had good looks. This game was circa 1990, 98, 91. Possessions were valued, and I thought they had good looks. Their defense was good. I thought they turned it over at times, and that hurt them. But for the most part, a lack of making shots cost them tonight.
The other thing, you're not getting a second question today, Randy. The other thing I'm going to jump in with, though.
No, go ahead.
At halftime, those second chance points, it was 17-5 for Memphis, and that also killed them. Because I will say this, Steven Adams did not blow up a stat line. He was massive, especially in that first half. And I thought they picked up some rebounding fouls that were just aggressive fouls because they were trying to be more present in the paint. And I don't think you can knock them for that, because Steven Adams is a load.
He's a presence.
And again, when you look at those second chance opportunities that Memphis had, it wasn't because they weren't down there giving it their all. But then I think, when you get that reset shot, like, you got to sit down and really dig deep and get that stop, right? And Memphis converted on so many second chance opportunities.
Free throws too, right? Like, Memphis made more free throws than Toronto even attempted. And one of those, again, where you're playing your defense, if you're fouling, they get into the bonus early and they just kind of, they nickel and dime you to death with foul, give them two, right?
And then even when you talk about the offensive rebounds and second chance points, the Raptors had 17 second chance points.
Yeah.
So it's not like they got crushed in that department. I think Memphis had 25, 26.
They ended up with 26.
So they outscored them. But the Raptors were present in that battle. They did some things well. They forced 17 turnovers and scored 20 points off turnovers. So again, they're giving themselves opportunities. When they get the game down to one, if I'm not mistaken, it was Malachi Flynn that missed a three.
Yeah.
They got an offensive rebound and Pascal missed a three.
Yeah.
2 clean looks at the three-point shot that they don't make. You're down 1.
Yeah.
You get over the hump on that possession,
Yeah.
you just don't know what happens
Ball
after
game,
that.
right?
So
It is, yeah.
I really feel like in a game like that, they're right there.
Yeah.
Because Memphis doesn't have their key guy in John Morant. They're still figuring things out without life after draw. So you're right there on a team that's really trying to figure it out. You got to make those shots.
They are 2-0 without him, though.
Yeah, but there's always a honeymoon phase.
I know,
There's always a honeymoon phase.
They got some guys too.
I thought Jaren Jackson Jr. was really good tonight. He was really. Here's a guy who
Desmond Bain,
has a slow start to the year, and he's really come on. And then Desmond Bain, as Amy said, this guy's making shots. And Dylan Brooks, he's home, and he wants to show off in front of his people
know
here.
he was home too.
And we've talked about this. He's kind of an old school throwback kind of guy. He's tough.
Yeah.
He's aggressive. He's physical.
Fouls.
And he's got a little bit of skill.
Yeah.
Well, hey, if you're fouling, that's back in the days, like a team like Georgetown with John Thompson. They foul all the time. You just can't call them all.
Yeah.
So you know what? Keep doing it. You're going to get away with some of them.
And you know what else? Sorry, the other huge turning point. Sorry, Randy.
No.
When Precious got called for the illegal screen, because I thought that was a kick out. Freddie made the shot,
Yeah.
and that would have been the biggest momentum swing I think of the game. And we saw the screen on the replay, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, there was a little, but I mean,
There's worse that's been let go, right?
Yeah, and that was really, really unfortunate.
Sure, when a team's down, like decimated with injuries, sort of the Raptors are, missing key guys, does that affect your mentality coming in to the game? Like,
Of the rest of the players?
Yeah.
Oh,
Can it affect them in a negative way? Like,
sure it
feel a
can,
bit
but
defeated?
I don't think that's a factor with this team.
No.
They're not coached to feel like guys down mean that we should hang our heads or we should have any reason not to win a game. So,
but that belief in winning I saw in the third quarter. I don't know if I saw that in quarters 1 and 2.
Well, but that narrative's getting old because guys are not coming back after 1 or 2 games, right? Like, that's the other thing. I think there are certain players that know that they are going to be getting minutes, and they're even if Freddie said for this team to win, he has to be his very best every night. There has got to be more than Freddie thinking that at this point, right? Like, I think the same thing.
Yeah.
You have to be. I mean, it's cliche. Oh, we got to be ready when our name's called. But I mean, this has been it for a week now, and a couple ball games in a week, right? Four maybe. So I mean,
in general, this is a pretty resilient team.
Yeah.
In general, so I would say to that point, it was I don't see them as lacking that in that mental capacity and that toughness.
I just don't want them to get down 50 to 35, in the second quarter. Like, I don't know. I think because the third quarter, like, that was a different team to me. And I'm sure that I want to see that earlier on. But on the positive, Sherman, I'll go back to you because I cut you off there. Watanabe is my second favorite player in the NBA. I don't know who my number 1 is, but he's like,
so why can't he be number 1?
Yeah.
He's close. But he's like, just when he's out there, I just feel like good things are happening at all times.
Yeah, I feel, with Utah, I think there's an energy about the way he plays.
Yeah.
This giving, this freeness, this whatever my team needs me to do. It's never about the name on the back of his jersey. It's about the team. And when you play with guys like that or people like that, you just know it. Like, they're going to give you everything they got, and it's just to win. And that's a freeing feeling, and you can feel it. Like, as a fan, you can watch it. You can feel it. And then he starts to make shots. And then he starts to rebound. Then he blocks a shot or two. Then he's running the floor, scoring in transition. And he's easy to cheer for because he's that type of personality. But he has impact.
Oh, yeah.
He has impact.
I feel like he's going to be a major player going forward, as like you can get 15 good minutes, 20 good minutes from him, impactful minutes. And Jonesy, whenever he shoots, I don't know if it's because he's a lefty and I'm a lefty. It just feels like,
Well, and you know what?
it just feels like
That's
it's
why
going
you like
in
him
every
so
time
much.
it leaves his head. Can you stop?
You're
Like,
reminded
just
of
doing it.
himself.
I'm looking at the chicken wings. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, they're looking at you.
And here's why you feel that way. Because I kind of feel that way for the most part with Gary Trent Jr. too.
Yeah.
He's shot ready. He takes good shots. He knows where his lane is when it's time for a shot. He's not trying to break people down, taking these funky off-balance stuff. He floats to an open spot, hands ready, catch and shoot, and he does take good balanced shots. So that's why you probably feel like that's going in.
Amy, just about a minute left in the show. What did you think of Flynn tonight?
I thought he did well. I thought, again, like he steps up and takes, he's not scared to take shots, right? And I think the more he gets out there with Freddie, because he gets Freddie off ball, he gets Fred off the ball. And I think that's a really good look for the Raptors. And so he hasn't had consistent minutes this year, right? He'll get thrown in for a couple here and then he won't play. And so now obviously he's getting a bit more consistent with the opportunity. I mean, I like Malachi, and I think he hustles. I think he's not scared defensively to get out there, too, and make some things happen. And really, he's weathered this early storm. So, I mean, I hope he just continues to get his opportunities. And again, Freddie off ball is, I like that.
I like the fact that he has a constant scowl on his face.
Yes.
There's no smiling. It's all business on the floor.
court,
Yeah.
because the off the court, he's really
absolutely.
cool. He's so nice.
It's all
but
business
yeah.
on the floor. I love
Yeah.
that.
I love the fact that in 2 years, he's developed into a real professional, right? He's not playing. He sits, he waits, he prepares. Hey, Flynn, let's go. Okay, I'm in there. And then, as Sherm said, the scowl, it's business, right?
Yeah, I really think he's poised for a breakout game, where he's going to be difficult to take him
Well,
off
what we
the
can
floor.
say is all these guys that want to play are getting opportunities.
Yes.
There's going to
Yeah.
be no excuses
Yeah.
at the end of the
Yeah.
day. They're getting their opportunity. Just got to take
You
advantage
might
of it.
have to lace him up at some point if the
You
injuries
think,
keep
you think it looks bad
You
now?
might
Canada,
miss
I'm over
Utah
here.
part two over
Wait,
here.
you think it looks
just
bad
compared
now?
yourself to Utah Watanabe, so maybe
No, I
you
mean, our
should do
jumpers
it.
are the same. Sherman can attest to it. He's seen it.
Don't.
No, it looks good. You can tell the people.
Whose
they
shot?
Mine. Tell them, Sherman. They want to know.
I've heard them talk about your shot.
Yeah.
Fashionable, not functional. Looks good, but doesn't always work.
Streaky still has good streaks.
Streaky,
Jonesy.
okay. That's the way you describe it,
Yeah,
streaky?
yeah. Streaks can go one of two ways, okay? Just because it goes the other way most times is not, it's irrelevant. Anyway, we're going to move on. I appreciate you doing this, guys. Next game for the Raptors, Thursday night, back here at Scotiabank Arena at the against the Milwaukee Bucks.
Champs.
7:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you then.